Okay, maybe now. Hopefully we have some sound of some sort. Somewhere, something. Can anybody hear me at all now? Anything? We have sound. Awesome. If at any time my sound goes out, guys, you let me know. Please let me know. I think I have it fixed. We shall see. Woo, yay! Okay, I apologize, guys. I'm sorry that took a few minutes. I rebooted just before we came in, and evidently it did something. Hi, there's Disa. Happy holidays. Okay, let me play the intro, guys, and we'll get started. All right. Okay, let's see. Tonight we are going to talk about we're going to be talking about all of the maker tools. Now, just because we're talking about maker tools, that's not going to exclude any of you guys who are Explore users. Yay! Hey, Miss Sheila. Because there are options that are available to you too. They're just not going to be like the maker, but they will be similar. So you guys are not left out. You're not left in the cold. We have options, and we're going to offer you some insight as to what you can do in place of what we're doing. But tonight we are going to be using the wavy tool, the perforation tool, the debossing tool, the engraving tool, the scoring wheels, the rotary blade, all of it. We're going to use it all, and including our fine tip blade. The only thing we're not going to use is the deep cut blade because we really don't need it. Joan, you weren't late. I was. I had a sound issue. All of a sudden it didn't want to take the sound into YouTube. Everything was showing good, and then boom, it wasn't going. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. We on Saturday went through all of Design Space. Everything. We went through all of it. Let me just show you guys one little tidbit here. For any of you that missed it, playback is available. And I have gone in. For those of you that were here, I told you that I would go in and take a peep into it. Let me just slide this over so you guys can see it. We want to go to announcements. And right here, if you go to see more, I have sectioned off for the start and stop times for each one of these topics that we covered. So if you want to go to linking cartridges and find out, all you got to do is click there, and it's going to start this. Because this is a 3.5 hour video, we ran through Design Space and hit on all the topics. So everything is there, and you can just click on it if you wanted to read about the grid lines or see about the reading Design Space and its grid lines. You could click right here, and it's going to take you to that point in the video. So I just wanted you guys to know that that is up and it's ready so that you can go in and watch the portions that you need, or if you need to touch up on a subject that we covered, you can go in there and do it. Over the next few weeks, we are going to go into more in depth, like we are tonight, on slicing or welding and things like that. We are going to cover those topics, and we're going to go in depth on them because we just touched on them just to get everybody familiar and get them over the fear of using the machine, okay, and how to use Design Space. And that's part of what we're doing tonight. I want you to get over the fear of using these tools, or if you haven't ordered them because you don't know what they do, I want you to get them while they're on that 50% off sale tonight. They are 50% off. There's a link for Cricut down below. If you shop that link, I will earn a small commission, and I greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you for supporting me and the group by using those links. But I want everybody to take advantage of the tools that they want and they like, so that they know what they're getting into before they go in and order it and say, oh, I don't like that, or I really love this one. I want you guys to be able to do that. Now, if you guys want to play along with me, I have set most of this up. You can open up your Design Space and go to design.cricut.com/design/195650286, and you can open up this design and you can follow along with me, okay? And you can play with everything. But right now I'm going to go over and we're going to talk about some of the materials and the blades, and then we're going to do some projects, and we're even going to make a card tonight. I don't think it'll take long. We're going to leave the acrylic. I'm going to do this part in acrylic. I'm going to leave it for probably start it first after the card so that we can be making the card while it's engraving, okay? So that'll give you time to get that opened up, and let's go over and take a look. Now I have all my blades, and I'm using a test tube. This is just, I got this, you can call it a test tube holder or a bead holder. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I think they're like $9, but if you use 40% off, it costs you around $5. You can make them. There are people selling them on Etsy. There are things in Design Space. Whatever works for you, but this does fit in my drawer. My drawer closes, and it keeps everything together. Now, my regular housings are a little bit too short, and they fall through. So all I did right here is I took some Scotch tape and ran it across those bottom holes to keep those propped up. I used a rubber band to start with, and that wasn't working for me, so I changed it. But we do have our rotary blade, and we do have our knife blade. Guys, this is very sharp. I don't have my cover on it. I do have a cover, I just don't have it on there because it doesn't fit in there. The cover will not fit. So we have our rotary blade and we have our knife blade, okay? These, if you look at the top of them, do not have a silver button. So if you're looking into getting to the adaptive tools, these are not quick swap housings. If you want to buy one quick swap housing and then buy all tips, then you need at least one quick swap, and I'm going to show that to you here in a moment. Do not remove your top plastic clear piece off of any of your adaptive tools. This is a stabilizer. I got it at Hobby Lobby, Sheila. I apologize, my husband's phone. One moment. He got it. There we go. So you want to leave these stabilizers on the top of these. A quick swap housing is going to look almost similar. This looks almost like your rotary. But if you'll notice, this one has a little bump out on the side of it. Make sure that you don't grab that one by mistake. It is the rotary blade, and it will cut you. Keep your protective cap on when possible. But the quick swap housing, that button, you're going to click on it, and it's going to release the tip. And that's why you have to have at least one of these in order to buy tips for the rest. Okay? And we have this is 01, tip 01. This is the single scoring wheel. We have 02, which is the double scoring wheel. Then we have let's see, this is 41. I'm going out of order, but that's okay. This is the engraving tip, okay? Just so you guys can take a look at that. That's the engraving. Then you have your number 31. This is your wavy tool. I'm going to try to get you guys a little peep at that. But it's almost like the rotary, except it doesn't have the bump out, okay? This blade, you can see it has a little screw right there, so probably in the future this blade will dull and you might have to replace it. I haven't seen that they said anything about that yet. I haven't seen well, you can buy the tip for replacement. So that's that on that. And then we have our perforation tool, and it is also a blade. Again, it's number 11. It has the screw on there. So I don't know in the future if they're going to have blades for these or if we're going to have to replace tips. I just don't know. I haven't heard. Don't know, Jamie, if you've heard anything as far as that goes. I had somebody ask me the other day, and I just don't know yet. I haven't gotten any answers. Then we have number 21, and this looks almost completely smooth on the end. This is your debossing tool. There is a little tip right there that will deboss. So those are the tools. And just so you guys know, if you're Explore users, you have your fabric blade. This is a pink housing. It's like the fine tip. It's just so that you can keep your fabric, your bonded fabric blade separate from your paper, your vinyl, your HTV. And then you have your deep cut blade. And the deep cut is black. The housing is different. It is shorter. The blade is different. It is a different degree angle on it. So you do need that when you're cutting thicker material so that they will pass under the housing. Yeah, the tips right now, guys, are, I mean, really 50% off, and then you get to use the group code and access on them. Now's the time to grab them if you think that you're going to need in the future another one, so that you have them, so you have extras. That being said, with these blades on the Maker, this is one material that you cannot cut with your Explore machines. However, you can cut cereal box, guys. Cereal box, coffee boxes, things like that. And then you can glue 2 of them together or 3 of them together and get those thicknesses and that sturdiness that you might need if you have an Explorer. Now, this material is not going to be the same. It's going to be a little bit flimsier. It's not going to be as dense as the Cricut chipboard. But the Cricut chipboard comes in a 1.5 millimeter. It comes in the damask, which is also 1.5, but it has decorative on it on one side, and then it's plain on the other. And it has like 4 different ones in there. I've used some of them, so I don't know if I have them all, but you can see them online at Cricut. If you go to Cricut when you're shopping and you're looking for these materials, they have a section that says Cricut Maker Materials, and those are materials that are strictly for the Maker only. And you'll find those. Then you have your basswood. Basswood, a lot of people have been asking about the basswood. Where to get the wood? Where do I get the wood? Where do I get the wood? You get it at Cricut.com. It comes in an 11 by 11, and I'm going to say, I might be wrong, 11 by 16, correct? Or 8, is it 8 by? Jamie, do you know what that other size is? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, they do have it in 2 sizes. And it's probably going to cut better than anything else that you get. So if you're having problems cutting the wood, most likely it's going to be wherever you got the wood. Wood is going to be different no matter where you get it from. Every single piece is going to be different. The fibers are going to be different. It's a tree, guys. It was grown. So, I mean, no 2 pieces are going to be identical, ever. The reason that these materials come in a 11-inch rather than 12-inch is because we have to move our star wheels out of the way so that they don't jam up in the machine. Hi, Maria. And I see some of the guys out there and they're looking for 12-inch. If you're looking for 12-inch basswood, if you find it, you can't use it. Make sure that when you're searching and you're looking for your Maker materials, these thicker materials, that you don't go over 11 inches. is it 12 by 11 by 16 for the basswood, Louise? 11 by 16. Because 12 won't fit in the machine. I think that's a typo. But all of the thick maker materials are going to be 11-inch wide. Okay? Just so that you know. And then you have the 2.0, which is the thicker chipboard. And yeah, I buy it when it's on sale because that's what I use. I prefer it over the basswood. But it's all on what you like. I'm just going to say we're not cutting any of this tonight with our knife blade simply because it takes so long. 12 by 6. There we go. There we go. I know it's 12 inches long and 6 inches wide. That's what it is. I knew it was something weird like that. And then we also have what we're going to use tonight's foil poster board, guys. Or foil craft board. You can use that. This stuff debosses really well. So you can do that. For you guys who have Explorers, you can use this material. Use your scoring stylus. Now, it is not going to score and give the debossing as deeply as you get with the maker and the debossing tool, but you can get a little bit of an impression going by using your scoring tool and changing your lines to score. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. But you can use these materials as well. And then, of course, you're going to have your fabrics. And tonight, we're going to be cutting and showing you how to the rotary blade cuts. There we go. This is the Riley Blake. I don't know if this is still available, guys. This is the Sweet Prairie sample pack. And we're going to be cutting just a little bit out of that so that I can show you guys how to put that on your mat and what mats we use and why we use them here shortly. So let's go over to the screen and finish setting up all of our stuff, and then we'll start loading some mats and cutting. And as I promised on Saturday, the iron-on that we cut, I am going to show you guys how to iron it on, and we're just going to use our little mini EasyPress just to iron that on to a bag here so that you guys can see how to layer in your iron-on when you're doing two different colors. I will do that. We'll probably do that first. But let's go over and set up our file. Now, when we first came out with these tools, I did a video on how to align and get your acrylic and stuff straight on your mat and get everything even and lined up. And I found a couple of little quicker and easier ways to do it. It's still similar, but I'm going to show you guys the trick that I do. Oh, I forgot to show you guys that. I have to pop back over here. I'm sorry. The aluminum sheets. A lot of people are doing the aluminum sheets, guys, and you can engrave on these. These are from Cricut too. They come in 3 different sizes, I believe. But this is the 4x4. I didn't grab all my packs over there. Sweet Prairie is on clearance, so yeah, you guys grab that if you want. You can engrave on this, guys, but you can also use your infusible inks on them and then engrave. Super, super. Sue, I did a project, but mine was a flunk. Sue Wright Caballero did one, and she posted it in the group. If you have not seen it, go and take a look at that. Pull up her name. You'll see she did one, and it turned out beautiful. It was gorgeous. So don't pass up those aluminum sheets while you're trying to get that $50 minimum in there to get that group discount code and free shipping. So this is one that I did the last time that we did it, and I'm just going to turn this light on. I don't want to blind anybody. Just so you can see. And everybody's putting the light bases on these, and I hope I can get it to show up on camera. But you can see, maybe. It's just a weird angle, and I don't want to really blind anybody. And I've got my overhead lights, too. But they will light up, and everybody's using the light bases for these to make them show up. We did some acrylic stuff and buffed into it, but you can see that it's kind of hard to see if you don't do either a light base or do some paste wax or something into it. And we're going to do that here in a minute after we engrave ours. Where did I get this acrylic? I got this at Hobby Lobby, right here, this sheet. It's $1.99. It is super thin and flexible. This is what I use when I do my keepsake boxes. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. It's in the Cricut community if you need to see it or want to see it. But I built a pink box out of the chipboard and covered it with cardstock, and I had a window in the top of it. And this is what I use for that. Your maker will not cut this. Even though it's thin and it's flimsy, it will not cut it. I tested it. I did it. It made like 40, maybe 60 passes. I don't even remember what I did. It scored it enough to where I could snap it, but it still didn't snap correctly, and I got lucky and I was able to trim it off with some scissors. But they do make a cutter for these, or use your utility knives and a ruler, and you can cut this pretty easily. But your maker will not cut it. It will damage your knife blade. It did kill my knife blade. I had to replace my knife blade, so I'm just going to tell you, don't try it unless you're willing to buy a new knife blade. You can buy 8.5 by 11 inch sheets and larger sheets of the Lexan and the Optics. And in my other video we went over, the difference is thickness. They were both just crystal clear. They're 8 by 10 sheets. This one is a 0.080 in thickness, and this one is a 0.093 in thickness. And this is the one we're going to try to engrave tonight. I hope that it works. But I'm pretty sure it will. I engraved on it before. I didn't have a problem. But this is about your max thickness. Okay? This is about as thick as you can get with it. You can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, your home improvement store. They will cut this to size. They will not cut a shape. They will not cut the shape. They will cut to size. If you can get one to cut a shape for you, then that's great. That's perfect. Fantastic. But they say no, they won't at my store. So just so you guys know that. So let's pop over there and set this up to cut acrylic. And let me show you a couple of tips and tricks that I've learned that work for me, and hopefully they'll work for you. So I have my design that I have picked out for my acrylic, and I'm thinking of putting a photo at the top of mine and putting mine in a frame. The piece that I had cut is a 5 by 8 inch sheet. So I have gone in and put a square in that is 5. Oops, I hit my keyboard. Sorry. So I've got one that is 5 by 8. I'm looking for it here. I know I set it in here. Here we go. I'll pull out all my materials so that we can be ready to go when I swap back over. Here, this is representative of my acrylic that I've already pre-cut, and I've got it sized. Okay, I have sized up my image. I went and got this out of Design Space. It's in there, and all I've done is I've gone up and I have changed the line type to engrave, because that's the first thing you got to do. Depending on what you're going to do, you need to change that line type. I believe it came in as a draw, and I changed it to engrave. So now that I have that set, I have my square. I need a couple of score lines. So if you go to shapes, you can get your score lines. I've got 2 of them. The first thing I'm going to do is change those to draw. Both of them. Change them to draw. I am going to select one. I'm going to leave it vertical, and I'm going to make it the length of my acrylic. I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm going to make it the width of my acrylic, which is 5 inches. I am going to select those lines and my acrylic, the piece that represents my acrylic, not my heart, and I'm going to align center. And I'm going to attach it. So now I've got a crosshair. I'm going to arrange and send that to the back. Oops, I don't want to, there we go. And then I've got my heart. Since I'm going to be putting a photo up here and putting it in a frame, I want this centered down here at the bottom. And if I were to put it in a light base or even a frame, I need a little bit of clearance down here. So I don't want to bring the tip all the way down. And if it's up a little bit higher, that's okay. So I'm going to bring that right up at the top of that crosshair. I am going to select both of them and I am going to align and I'm going to center it horizontally. Okay? I'm going to increase this so maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. So now I have it. I'm going to take a good look and I can see that that's where it's centered. It's right up here at the top of that line. And then I'm looking at where this crosshair is going to fall through here. And it's going right through that center dot there and that dot there. And I'm good with that. I'm going to go over and hide all of this stuff until we're ready for it, guys. Let me group and hide. What else we got here? And let's hide that because I don't want to send it all over there. So now when I'm ready to engrave, the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Make It. I still got some stuff over there. Oops. And that's okay. It can stay there. So what I want to do next is I'm going to take my square because it's a different color, of course, than my engrave because I did not attach my engrave. And I am going to bring this over to the 6-inch mark. That's where I want it. Okay? Right there. Actually, I'm going to move that to another mat. Actually, I'm going to move it over here to that mat. So, and it's going to move right where I had it. I'm going to bring this in and I am going to line that up right where I had it in design space. Now I can do this and now I can just get rid of this piece right here and hide this selected. And when I hide that selected, then that's where it's going to be. But if I put my acrylic on my mat, we've still got that 1/4 inch at the top. All the way around, you've got that 1/4 inch. And up here at the top, I've got 1/4 inch. That's going to throw it off. So my solution to that is, and I'm just going to cancel that and go back. We're going to hit Make It. I am coming over here to this, and I'm going to move it to the 6-inch mark. I am going to load my mat with paper. So let's come back over to the overhead. I'm going to make myself a template. And because I'm using a craft board, that's what I'm using for this right now. You can use anything. Doesn't matter what you use, just as long as it goes on your mat where you need it. We're going to put that on the mat and we're going to cut that. So let's go back over to the monitor. And I am going to hit Continue. With that at my 6-inch mark, I'm going to load my mat. And I'm just going, because I know my blade is probably dull, I'm going to go with craft board on this, guys. And we're going to cut it. I'm not even putting a pin in. I don't need the pin at this point. Okay? I'm just letting it go through the motion of drawing that. I am not using a pen. I'm not writing anything. I don't need it to write anything. Just going to have it cut out that square to make the template. And it's detecting the tool, which is just our fine point blade. I probably should have not unwrapped that until you guys saw me, but I did. So it's everybody with me so far on what we've done to make our template and get ready? Any questions up to this point? All right, now I'm just going to unload my mat. I'm going to bring that over here and come back to the camera for you guys. Okay, so now I've had it cut. I'm just going to fold my mat over and let that pop off, and I'm going to remove this piece. I'm going to get rid of it. And I am on a green mat for that. I'm just going to take that off that mat. I've unwrapped my glue on it. They cut it for me, and it stays on the paper backing. And then I've peeled off my other backing. And we're going to uncover that one. And now I am going to place my template onto this mat. I'm not worried about sticking it down all the way. I just want it even. Then we're going to line up that template. We're going to put that template right in there. Just like that. And then I'm just going to get rid of it. And you can save these if you know that you're going to be doing a bunch. Save your template, mark it. You can write on it, put whatever you want on there, and get that. So I know that's in its correct position. And I'm just going to use a couple pieces of masking tape, painter's tape, whatever it is that you have. And I am going to tape across the top and tape that down. Oops, didn't get a long enough piece. And then one across the bottom. And I'm just going to tape. I don't want to go too far up on there because my design is going to be there, so make sure that you tape it, but don't go up too high on there. Yes, you can use that for pictures. You can turn your template into a scrapbook page. I mean, and I'm just going to have enough to put it on there. Now, I've got a new mat, and it's nice and sticky, so I'm not worried about this really moving. Just make sure that you push it down. And if you have your brayer, you can roll over that. You don't want to scratch it. Make sure you don't have any trash or anything on there. You don't want to scratch your acrylic. Okay? Now, we're going to go back over to the design space, and let's see what the next step is to doing that. So now that I've cut that, I'm just going to cancel and go back. And I'm going to come back over here where my crosshair is, and I'm going to get my design, and I am going to move it to that mat. Right here. I know that's where my template is. I'm going to bring that up there. I know that it's lined up correctly. I'm going to select this piece right here, and I'm going to get hide select, and I'm ready to go. I am going to hit continue. It's already on engrave. My maker is going to read it. Make sure your star wheels are pushed all the way to the right. And those are those little white things on the carriage, guys. They're the star wheels. Push them all the way to the right. And now we have to pick our material. So I'm going to hit browse all materials. And because I'm on engrave, it's going to show me what is available. So let's go in here and see what we have. Here we go, acrylic. And this is a thick, I'm going to use the thick acrylic. And hit done. And now it's asking me for the engraved tip in clamp B. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we get our engraving tip, number 41. And I'm not trying to make anybody drunk, I'm really not, but I do want you to see how we load this up. So I'm going to open up clamp B, take out my blade here. I'm just going to lay it to the side. We're going to put it in, and you can see that I have my cap right here, okay? And I'm just putting this cap flush against the gear up there, I'm going to close my clamp. We're going to load the mat. And then we're going to hit the flashing C. And it's going to begin engraving. And it should engrave in the spot where we set everything, and we know that it should be centered because we used our template. We made sure that we set it where it needed to be. We moved it off the mat and lined everything up. No, and that's going to sound terrible to you that have never done it. It's okay. I lost my lint roller. We had that funeral last week and my lint roller went out into the truck, so I'm going to have to use masking tape. You don't want to rub, even when you're doing your aluminum sheets, anything like that, you don't want to be rubbing on this acrylic, this residue that's going to be on here. You want to use, I'm going to use some masking tape and I'm going to pat it and pull that stuff up, because if you push that off, if you're using the aluminum, that aluminum can get in your fingers and it can give you aluminum splinters, I guess that's what you would call it. It can also scratch the surface and mar it. So we're going to use, because I don't have my lint roller, I'm just going to use some masking tape and kind of pick it all up. A paintbrush might work too. I think I have my paintbrush handy. We can just brush it off rather than rubbing it. I think that's what I'll do. It'll be easier. But I'm just going to use a paintbrush and just kind of brush it off lightly. So while that is engraving, let's go back over. I'm going to open up a Design Space window and we're going to talk about doing how we set up the other files, because that's going to take, I don't know, it's not going to take that long, but we've got something that we can do while that's going. So let me just open a new window and get Cricut Design Space in the web. And here's our projects. Another question that people had asked me let me transfer over, is how to open up two windows and cut on two machines. Yes, you can do that. Right now we can open up two web browsers or whatever. But if you're in the Design Space, the desktop, which everybody will be come January, the web is going away. You're just going to come up here to File and open a new window. So you can open one in a new window up here. Okay? And those sounds are normal. It's just spinning and readjusting. So I'm just going to hide this now right here because we don't need this one. I don't even need that anymore. I'm not going to save it so that you guys, if you want this design, it's all here. So the next thing that we're going to do is deboss. If we have time, I'm going to do a practice thing, a test thing on leather for you guys, if we have time. This one I've set up for debossing, and I'm going to be using some of the foil craft board and our debossing tool. Now all I did was go over to images and I found a heart and I brought that in. Here's, as a matter of fact, here is the one that we're engraving right now. It's on the Kinley Phrases and Sentiments Love Draw. But I just came in and I found some images. Here's the eagle that I have. They're all in here. And I brought it into Design Space. Just going to cancel that. And then all I did was, I selected all. I'm detaching so you guys can see. I knew it was going to drop that over there. Right here, and then we go into, did it detach? There's my word. Okay, I typed in the word love, and then I changed it to a writing font because I didn't want it to do the outline of the cut. So if it's on regular, you're going to get this, and if you change that to draw or deboss, you see how it gives the outside line? I didn't want to do that. So I made sure that I changed it to writing and gave me that single line. Then you're going to come in and make sure it's set on deboss, and it gets really thick on deboss. But that's the same thing that I did to the heart. It was a separate piece. I brought it in and I changed it, the line type on that. It'll let me. I'm going to attach it back. Let's see. Detach. It's not wanting to detach for me. There we go. And there it is right there. And again, all I did was set it to deboss. You can put it on engrave. You can put it on whatever you want to. Sorry about that. Facebook is doing weird things. Or they're trying to call me. I don't know. But I'm in the... I can't do a conference call right now. So we're going to set that on deboss. We have that. I'm going to arrange and move that to the back. I've already centered them up like I want it. And then we're going to select them both and attach. Now that one is ready. As soon as that finishes, we'll load that paper up on that mat. Well, we'll put that on the green mat. So let's go over and load that up. And we're going to make the card after this one. So, we have our green mat. Just set my tools out of the way. And then I have, and I've already cut some pieces out of this right here. But, oops, gotta tilt y'all back. There you go. We're just going to put this on the green mat. And I'm going to use my brayer, and I'm going to push this down. Guys, if you're having trouble with your vinyl cutting, this will help. It will get it on your mat really well. So now this one is set up for the debossing. Just set that out of the way. While that's finishing up the engraving, let's go ahead and do our layered iron-on. What do you think? So I've got my little mat. I've got my EasyPress mini. I'm heating that up. And I've got my Cricut bag. I didn't want to put this on a shirt or mess up. I'm going to do it long ways. Mess up my other things. Oh, we're finished. This won't take but a second anyway. I'm just going to unload my acrylic. I'm not going to touch it other than that. And we're going to start with our main piece. First I'm going to preheat my fabric. I know this is wrinkled, guys. Make sure yours is not wrinkled and all that kind of stuff. For time purposes, I'm not going to go through all that. But I'm just going to heat it up. Oops, I turned off my press. I hit my button with my pinky. So we're just going to, that's my preheat, 5 seconds. We're going to get that on there. You can use your guide by folding this in half and figuring out where the center point of your design is, and give yourself a little bit of markings for centering if you need to do that. And then we're just going to press that down. And this is Cricut foil. I'm just going to place a Teflon sheet or a protective sheet over it, and I'm just going to iron this down for just a few seconds, guys. I am not going to heat this the full amount of time. Don't want to heat it the full amount of time. We just want to tack it down. So if you're doing 2 colors of iron-on, this is the way that you're going to do it. And we're going to let that cool. So maybe 3 to 5 seconds. On the beta app, you can't, Sheila. You have to do it on the web for right now. Here shortly, you'll be able to click on it. Let me see if I can. Sometimes it will let us put it in the chat on YouTube, and sometimes it won't. But we're going to try it. Here it is. And see if that will allow you to do it. So this is cooled and I'm going to peel this off. Just going to peel off my carrier. This is, I have one little piece that's not stuck here, and so I'm just going to hit it just for a second. Just enough to adhere. That one, I must have missed that whole bottom right there. You're supposed to peel this cool. Just going to take my time. I want to make sure that all my pieces stay stuck down. Those two little pieces want to be a little booger. This is why the mini is perfect for something like this. Just want to get it to release. And I just messed up my New Year. But that's okay. I'm going to live with it on this little bag. So now I have that removed. I am going to take this 2020 and I'm going to trim off this excess right here. I don't want to leave a line. And I'm going to place it right in that cutout. Right in there. Now, if I were to iron that right now, I would mess up all of this iron-on. You saw that I hit that one and messed that up. But you want to make sure that you protect it. So you're going to use your Teflon sheet or your protective mat from Cricut. And I'm just going to hit that 2020 just for a few seconds. Just the date. And we're going to let that cool off. Not quite yet. Here we go. Just going to peel this back. Now I believe that this is Caesar metal on my gold, guys. Old gold. So I've got that peeled back, and now I'm going to place this on there, and I am going to heat the whole thing for 5 to 10 seconds. I believe there's a 15-second time on foils. I have to double check. So make sure that you heat it to the proper time. This is not going to be worn. It's on a bag. So the timing, as long as it's nice and smooth and bright, it's going to be okay. But if it's a garment you're wearing, please pay attention to your temp and times. And we're just going to let that cool off for a minute because it is a cold peel and I've used my Teflon. And then we're going to peel that off. And now we have that two-toned inside there. Okay? And this is taking on the wrinkles of my bag and everything else, so, but I knew that it would. But that is the way that you do it. Just make sure you do it nice and smooth and easy. You're not supposed to layer foils. I do. I have. I didn't put anything on top of one another, but you don't want to really overheat them, okay? And these were just scraps that I used anyway, just to show how to layer. We weren't really going for material. So that's how you layer your materials. We're going to pretend that we did everyday iron-on, and that's the way that you do them. A few seconds, do the next layer, a few seconds, remove it, heat the full time. I don't believe there was an uploaded image in it. If there is, I will take it out and resave it for you guys and put it in the description below. No. No. Nothing uploaded. Nothing at all. Not sure why it's saying that. Oh, I don't want to do that because I took some stuff out. I will go back and do a save as and rename it and see if that helps. Maybe just a glitch, but there's nothing uploaded in there. So let's go over, because I just wanted to do that for you guys because our video ran so long the other day that we opted to wait on that so you guys know how to layer. So I've unloaded my mat, and now I'm going to remove it. Actually, I'm going to go away and brush it away from my mat. I don't want to brush it to the side. I don't want it to stick. So all I've done is go and brush off all of that, or use your lint roller. And then we're just going to remove it from the mat. And if you want to engrave over it twice, you can. I have done that. I didn't see any difference really in doing it twice or 3 times. Some people say they have. I couldn't tell a difference in mine on comparison. And then I'm just going to fold my mat so that it lifts up, and we're just going to walk that right off of the mat. Maybe. There we go. So let's go ahead and load up our next one, and then we'll work on this while it's debossing. So I'm just going to X out of that one. Give me just a second to get out of there and come back. So I'm going to hide that one and hide that one, and we're going to I apologize, I'm a little slow. There we go. All right, so now I have my material loaded. And then we're going to send this over to the mat and deboss. Guys, I'm just going to unload my engraving tool and grab my debossing tool. And load it the exact same way as I did the engraving tool. And then we're just going to hit make it. This is the one that we're going to do. I'm just ignoring my other mats. I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to hit continue. And we are going to go with the foil craft board. Oh, there it was. I did have it saved. Right here. Oh, that's holographic. Let's see. Foil craft board, foil poster board. That should work. Let's just go with that one. I'm going to use the craft board. Maybe it'll give us more pressure. So I've loaded my debossing tool, and now I'm going to load the mat, and we're going to press the cut button. And while that's doing that, we'll come over and we'll take a look at our engraving. So you can see I lost my light. Don't know what I did with my light. I don't know if you guys can see it without my light. Let's give me a piece of black paper. Or dark paper. I use foil. There you go. But you can see that it engraved on there. I really wish I had my light. There it is. So when you put that on a light base, you can see that it's going to pop out there. Okay? I don't want to blind anybody with any bright lights. You can see when you put it on there how it pops out. So let's see what happens if we put some paste on it while that other is cutting. Just going to put this right on here. And I'm going to try it this time. Last time we used some Gilder's paste wax. I'm going to use some Nouveau Glacier paste. And this is just like a mousse. If I can get it open. I didn't want to jab my finger in it. I'm just going to get a little bit of that paste out and put it right on there. I don't know how well this is going to work. And these are just coffee filters that I rub so that they're not going to scratch anything. And then I'm just going to rub it off the top. And I don't like that at all. Might have to wash that out of there. I don't like the way that it went in. Oh, yuck. Well, I did save the other one that I had cut so that you can see. It is making it pop out, but this is just too glittery. It's too much shimmer for my liking. I'll go and wash that off before it sets well. Let's find my other sheet. Well, I know I had it, guys. Okay, maybe I don't have it. There it is. Here's the one that we did last time. And I'm going to use the Gilder's paste. That stuff didn't work good in there. Works great on cards, not on that. I'm just going to get a little bit of the paste and put it on there. And this is the white. And nothing like putting it on the wrong side. But you can see that pop out. To me, the Gilder's paste just works best. Let me get this off the back. And you can work pretty quickly with the Gilder's paste. You can get it off if it dries on there. It's just a little more work. But you can see how that pops out without a light. Okay. So that's what the Gilder's paste and stuff will make it do. I'm going to wash this one off and put the Gilder's paste on it. I think I like it better. But you just want to make sure that you get it in there good, clean it up. I forgot there was something else they were using. Anybody remember? There's another, it wasn't Jeweler's, what was it? I forgot, I got it on that card, that's where it's coming from. I don't remember exactly what they were using. I'm just going to take a baby wipe, guys, and clean up this so it doesn't get on the rest of our projects. But even that will pop out even better with the lights when you've done the wax in there. So those are several things that you can do with your engraving. Let's move over and show the debossing. Oh, it's asking me to replace and put my blade in so it can cut it. I've already debossed, so we got to change our blades. And let's set up for my mat for the wavy so that you guys can see how that works. I was so nice and neat and organized a while ago, and now it's all scattered everywhere. Does anybody else do that? I'm going to set this mat up for our wavy blade so that you guys can see what the wavy blade does. And I'm unloading my Cricut mat. So I've already got my wave blade set up. All I did was put this on the mat, and it's going to ask me for my wavy tool. So I am going to select the wavy tool, number 31, and I am going to place it into clamp B, just like we did the first one. All of the adaptive tools load the same way. And I'm just going to load that mat and let it cut those shapes. And all I did was put in some basic shapes, a heart, a pentagon, and a circle. So there's our debossing, and you can see how that worked. Isn't that pretty? But it will indent and deboss all of your thicker cardstocks, things like that. Now, if you have the Explorer, like I said, you can use your scoring stylus and get a similar look. It may not be as deep. It may not look as deep as this, but you will. Hi, Glenda. Welcome. So that gives you the debossing. I'm going to see if I can't wipe that off real quick. Okay, it is not detecting. Oops, that's why. I'm glad it didn't detect because I was on the wrong mat. There we go. So let's go back in there. Yeah, I'm using my baby wipe and taking that. I didn't like that at all. While it's cutting the wavy, we'll put some paste in this maybe. There we go. Good as new, and I can still use it. So I'm going to remove this. Now it is asking me to put in my fine point blade because I forgot to change something. So that's what it is. Just going to eject. We don't need but one shape to cut. So I had the basic heart in there, or a heart from Design Space, and I used my wavy tool instead of my fine cut. And you see the wavy edge that we got? How cool is that? But that's what it does. It takes your straight cuts and it turns them into waves. Hope you guys can see that. Might be easier to see on there we go. You can see a little bit better. But it, instead of a straight line, we cut all those waves. How cool. Lots of fun things you can do with that. And you can cut any of your images with that kind of shape, guys. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys was how to cut fabric with the rotary blade. And then we're going to make our card. So let me cancel. Nope, I'm going to stay. Okay, so I've got the same two hearts, but I have it set up for cut. For fabric, you do need a pink mat. Okay, we've had several people say, you know, can I cut without the pink mat. You can, but you shouldn't. The pink mat is made of a denser material than your other mats. Your rotary blade is extremely sharp, and it will cut through to the other mats. When it cuts through those other mats and it gets into your mat, not only can it damage the mat, but it's going to dull your blade. It could even damage your blade cutting into the mats. And I'm just running an iron over this fabric. Your fabric should be wrinkle free. You should iron it. It should be wrinkle free. If you're buying the Cricut materials, and it really should go face down, but for camera purposes, I'm cutting it face up. You want your pretty side down. For most, it should tell you on your projects. If I was doing heat and bond on this, I would actually move it. So I've got it spread out on my mat. You do want to take your applicator and press this down. You want a nice, firm, flat area. I've left this wrinkled down here. You see how that's got that wrinkle in there? That rotary will not cut well over that. You want it nice and smooth and flat. Now, if you're on an Explore machine, you will have to cut bonded material, and you can use the pink fabric blade and housing, but you do have to have heat and bond or something on the back and cut it pretty side down to cut. Okay. And now I'm just going to select my fabric. Let's go over to the monitor so you guys can see. Did it go? There we go. So this is the one I'm cutting now, and this is the hearts. I'm going to edit it because I didn't do anything. And I've got them cut. Let's just move that one over just a little bit, and I'm going to say done. And come up to, oops, no, I don't want to. I'm going to come up here and change this to fabric. And this is just a light fabric, silk cotton. Here we go. And it's going to tell me here that I need my rotary blade. Okay. So the next thing I do after I've loaded my material up on my mat. Yeah, that wavy blade is awesome. Disa, it's awesome. So I'm just going to load my mat, and again, I'm going to load my rotary into the B clamp, just like we did the others. Let's make sure that we have our rotary blade, and we're going to load it up. I know you guys can't see me doing that, but it's loaded just the same way. And I think I'll switch over so you guys can see this cut, because the rotary blade, guys, it really is awesome. So I've got it all loaded, and I'm just going to let this hang off the end. It's not going to hurt anything. You can cut it off. Usually I would cut it off, but I don't want to waste my fabric. And I'm just going to hit the cut button. And it's going to go over and detect my rotary, and then it's going to cut the fabric. Who has not cut fabric yet on their maker? Or who has? I know we have a little bit of delay, so I'm waiting. I'm reading chat just to make sure I don't miss anything. And so now that's complete. We can unload it. And it looks like it didn't do anything, right? Watch this, guys. Amazing. You don't want to be handling your pink mat. You don't want to touch it. You want to touch it as little as possible. Look at that. How cool is that? Then I'm going to use my tweezers. These come with the applicator tool set. And I'm just going to start lifting my fabric up, and then I'm just going to gently remove it. Oh, you have? Making a quilt? Wonderful. I was going to put these as appliques, but I was like, I'll use them for something. I'll use them on a card, on the inside of a card. But how easy and simple was that to cut? And it cut very well. Now you will, on some of your cottons, you'll get some raveling and stuff. That's why you want to remove it gently from your mat. You want to make sure that you're pulling it the right way from the grain, which I should have pulled this the other way. But you're going to have a little bit, you can use a little bit of fray check. It's the same as if you cut with scissors. Just, it's going to be the same thing. So now we've done our engraving. We've done our debossing. We've done our wavy. We have done our fabric with the rotary. So what do we have next? How about our scoring wheels? And again, I apologize, I'm not going to do the knife blade because that takes forever, guys. It takes many, many passes, and it's going to depend on your internet. It's going to depend on your design. There are a lot of elements go in. It could cut through in 8 passes. It could cut through in 30 passes. It's all going to vary. So that's why we're not cutting with the knife blade tonight. But if you guys are having problems and we want to do a tutorial on that, we'll dedicate a night to doing that. So let's go over and get our card together and let's cut it real quick. Yes, Patty, you can layer and cut fabric. You want to use a basting spray, but they need to be smoothed together and laying on there really good. Because the more that you move a basting spray, the more that it lifts. You want to make sure that it's down there. I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. So I kept hitting the wrong button. All right, so now we have that one out of the way. Gonna hide that. And I will do the did I miss my whole group there? No, that's a different one. There we go. Oh, I forgot that I increased it. No wonder it was so large. I'm like, wait a minute. There we go. What should be? Those are the shapes that I had for cutting. I don't know why that is jumping like that. I'm not touching. Well, let's just, more than one way to skin a cat. I am not touching. Oh, I know what it is. Duh. My keyboard. I set something on my keyboard. I couldn't figure out why I kept scrolling. So let's go back. Cancel. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to delete those out for now. We don't need them. Those I just had to cut to show you guys. This is the group that I want. There we go. So this is our card. With this, we're going to use, on the maker, we're going to use our perforation tool and our scoring wheels. Okay? The perforation tool is a really, really cool tool. I think you guys are really going to like this. So I've got it all set up. And what I've done is I've taken that same heart and on the line type, let me just ungroup everything. On the line type, I made that heart a perforation. As you can see over here in the layers panel, I have this set to draw in the center, and then I have the heart set as a perforation. So that's where my multi-lines are coming in. Let me select it. There we go. And you can see I've selected the perf. And that's going to perforate that heart all the way around. It's going to draw the rest on this top piece. Oops. I left one on here, and what I did is I aligned this into the same spot after I lined these up, so I knew where I wanted the I love you to be. I don't want to do a perforated line on that, so I am going to hide it. I don't want it. I just used it for alignment purposes only. This is going to be my back piece, because once we put this card together, they're going to rip this piece off and reveal what's underneath. Okay? So we're going to put that in there, and then this is our card base. Now this is my underside piece because of the way that I'm going to put this card together, and you guys will see why, so you need an extra one. This is our card base. So if you're going to write a message or you want a sentiment in it, it needs to go on this right-hand side. So you can add a sentiment to this, do whatever you want to do, and put it on the right-hand side right here. And then I have attached my score line right down the center. So now we're going to hit Make It. And those are all in the shapes, guys. The score lines are in the shapes. And you can see this is all cut from white. And then I have this one piece cut from the red. So let's go ahead and load up our mat with the white paper first. And a lot of you guys love the blue mats for cardstock, so I am going to use my blue mat. I'm trying not to damage my teal cardstock because I'll still use that. And this is Cricut paper, guys. It's 80 pound. So we're just going to put that on the mat. And then we are going to load it and on the screen. Let's go over and see what it tells us to do. I'm going to hit Continue. Again. And it's going to find my machine. And this is a popular material, so I'm going to get the medium cardstock. And it's telling me to load my pen, my black pen, in clamp A, and my scoring wheel in clamp B. And it's telling me the single scoring wheel. And the reason it's telling me the single scoring wheel is because of the material that I chose. If I choose a heavier material, then it's going to ask me to use scoring wheel 2. It's things like your party foil, not party foil, your foil poster boards, your acetate, your foil acetate, those kind of things. It's going to ask for scoring wheel 2. Any of your thicker materials. So let me go over and show you guys in case you don't know how to load the pen. We're just going to tilt you guys over. I've got scoring wheel 1 in there. You're going to take the pen off. You're just going to put it in there and press it down till it clicks, and then you're going to close that. We're going to load up the mat, and we're going to hit the cut button. Let me go over so you guys can see the monitor and you can see what it's telling it to do. The first thing it's going to do is detect that tool and score. And if you look over here in the layers panel, it's a little bit gray, but it says score, draw, basic perforation, wave, and cut. What did I put wave on? Oh, my heart. Is my heart set on wave? I don't know what I set to wave. It must be this piece here. By accident. It shouldn't be, but it is. We're about to find out. And I tried to pick really quick drawing so that it wouldn't take long. Now I'm going to remove my pen and cap it, store it face down, and now it wants the perforation blade. So I'm going to take out the scoring wheel and we're going to add that perforation blade. If I can figure out where I put it. There it is. We're just going to load that up and press the cut button again. That's all you're going to do. Just change the blade and press the cut button. I don't know why I have a wave in there. Who knows? I've been having one of those weeks. I will change it though. If you already have the file open, you'll want to change that. I don't know what is set in there. Probably won't hurt anything. Okay, and now it wants my wavy blade for whatever reason. And if it goes to do something funky, I'll just stop it. And that's what it is. It's cutting my second heart in a wavy pattern. And that's fine. That'll be a decorative when it tears off. So you guys can leave that one in there if you want to, that wavy. That'll be pretty. And now it wants my fine point blade. So we're going to put the fine point in there and hit the cut button. Yay! And while that's going, I am going to use my green mat. I'm probably going to regret it. No, I'm not. I don't want to regret it on camera with this cardstock. So we're just cutting. Let me take you over so you can see. Yeah, that's what I did. I set something on my keyboard and it was just scrolling. So now we're going to unload. And let's come over here. And now we're just going to roll and take everything off of our mat. And you can use your spatula. I'm so used to using my fingers that I don't even use it. So that's why the wavy was in there, and that's perfect. That's going to look good. And I've got a little tick right there. I know I need a new blade. Yours should probably cut clean. I'll trim that up with my scissors if I need to. Don't punch out your perforation. Leave it in there. And I may as well show you guys how to change the blade while I'm here, because when you need to, this will happen when you need to change the blade. Okay, so let's just go ahead. You've got your housing, and your blades. So you're going to open up and you're going to grab one of your blades and you're going to pull the white cap off. Okay, you're going to depress the top, just to press it in, make sure you guys can see, and pull that blade out. There's a magnet in there that holds that in. Then I'm going to put the white cap on that one and throw it away. Okay, that way they don't get mixed up with your other blades. With your, this is the end of your blade right here. This is the part that goes in. You're just going to drop it in and press that button. Let it fall down in there. And it's not going to come out, okay? Even if you hold it down and shake it, it's not going to come out. You have to pull it out. And now that's all there is to changing your fine tip blade. So now we're going to put our red on our mat. And we're going to load that in. And this one is just our pen and our fine tip blade. So you need to make sure that your pen is in there before you hit that cut button. And while that's doing, we'll go ahead and start putting this together. And I am going to be using some art glitter glue. You can see the score line on my cardstock there from my scoring wheel. Just going to fold that over. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to depress that down. Give it a good press. Don't pay attention to my miscut from my blade. Then I am actually going to take, I have a little hole cut in this one. And I've got a little bitty ladybug, okay? You can use whatever you want. They don't really give us a way to have a pull tab. And I'm just going to take a piece of cord. And hopefully this will work. I don't know if this will work. You may have to change it. Don't know. Honestly, I do not know. I'm just going to do a little slip knot in it. Place that down. And then I'm going to place my little ladybug in there. And I'm going to tighten that up. And I just cut a length of it because I don't know how long I'm going to want it. Just get it tied around there, and I'm going to open that up. You can do all sorts of brads, any kind of brad that you want. And then I'm going to take my wavy one that I cut, and I can see my perforation. And it's probably going to wash out because it's white here, guys. I apologize for that. And I'm just going to stick that down over that just to hide that brad. Going to unload my mat over there. It's done. Cap my pin. So I'm just going to go around the edge of this wavy cut. And you could ink the edges of this. Oh, I forgot I needed to put up my fine tip. I cleaned my fine tips. So I got a big old gush of glue right there. We're just going to place that right over there just to make that prettied up on the inside. You could ink the edges to make it pop out if you wanted to. Don't get glue into your perforation area. You don't want to do that. And then I'll tie that into a bow here in just a minute. Then you're going to need your second piece. And this piece is going to fit over that. Make sure you have it in the right position. And I am going to first place glue just on this bottom half, staying away from the perforation area. Because I'm going to try something. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to leave that top open for a second. It may or may not work. We'll see. I'm just going to place it right down over the center of this panel. And then I have some of these. Gerald found these at Dollar Tree, and I had to have some, so I went and got some. These are, what do they call them, Gerald? I forgot. But I'm going to open that up just a little bit. And I'm going to, some kind of confetti. Tube confetti. I think that's what they call it. I'm just going to drop a little right back in there. Oops, it's falling out the bottom. I didn't get a good seal down there. Make sure you get yours sealed. And then I'm going to run my bead of glue across the top. I might need a little bit of glue right there. All right, and now if you've got your card base, you have your sentiment. I'm going to stamp a sentiment in mine, so that's why mine is blank. Put whatever you want in yours. Now we're going to put glue on this panel. Pay attention to your corners. I'm really just trying to smear some of that I already have on there. And then we're going to place it right on top of that card. Even it up. I'm just going to tie. And you can put a little thing that says pull or something like that on there if you want to. I don't know why I'm tying a bow, but I am. I want a bow. And now I'm going to double knot it. Giving that glue a little time to dry. You're going to want to make sure that it's good and dry. Let's turn that off. How cute is that? So now when they go, I'm going to ruin my card, guys. So here we go. Let's see if it works. We're going to see, they don't give us a way to pull that perforation. That's the only thing that I don't like about it. I am still coming up with ways. So I'm going to suggest that you loosen it a little, or either move your circle closer to the edge. But once you get it started, it goes. And then that's what your perforation tool does. How cute! Confetti time. Several ways you can do it, different things. Now I do have an SVG file that has half circles, half cut lines that you can put on the edge of this and give yourself a lift tab. I forgot about those. That's what I should have put in there, but then I couldn't have shared the file. But I do have that SVG if you guys want it, so that you can create a pull tab for these instead of having to do it that way, because that didn't really work. It was great decoration, but it didn't really work for pulling it. Okay, so that covers all of our tools. We did everything except use the knife blade, guys. So you know how to use your tools now. You know how to use your scoring wheels. You know how to use your rotary blade, your engraving tool, all of that. Does anybody have any questions? And of course, you can always ask in the group. If you don't want to ask in chat here, that's fine. But there are so many things you can do. And guys, we're still discovering things to do with our new tools. So if you're going to get them, now is the time to get them while they're 50% off. And you get your 10% access. And you get your 10% group code if you spend over $50 on the subtotal. Not the total, but the subtotal has to be $50. Yeah, I did one. Patty, I think all my Patreons have one where I did a Santa card last year. Or when they came out, I did a Santa card. Back in July. That's when it was. In July, I did a Santa card in our Christmas in July. And the Santa sack is perforated to rip away and expose the gift card. Alright guys, well I appreciate everybody joining me. I know that these videos were a little bit long Saturday and today. That's because I wanted to be sure that you guys got a full Design Space class overview and you got a full overview of the tools so that you would know how to use them and come up with some ideas. Let's start sharing our ideas using these tools. I'll start doing some projects. I'm going to start, I don't know how many New Year's projects I will get out. I am basically going to focus on February projects. Our next tutorial is going to be on, let's see. Well, the first is New Year's. I'm going to say Friday the 3rd will be our first one. I'm going to try to squeeze one in, guys. I really do need to get my stuff packed up. We may not do a tutorial the rest of this week because of that, so that everybody can get through New Year's and get all their decorations and things like that put up. I want to give everybody time. So let's plan our next live, and I will get the calendar out tomorrow. Let's plan on our first live being on the 6th, and then the 9th and the 11th. And I will put that up, the calendar up for the YouTube schedule in the group announcements. Yes, thank you to all my moderators, guys. They have been so fantastic. We have actually literally added almost 20,000 people in the last 28 days, and those guys have been rocking and rolling. So thank you, Jamie, Marianne, Louise, Sue, Kathy, Catherine, all of you. You guys are just absolutely great. Thank you to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters. We're growing leaps and bounds, and I hope that you guys continue to support. If you want to support, you can do it on YouTube chat. Super chats, you can do it on Ko-fi and get access to all of my files, or on Patreon and get access to all of my files. Or you can support the whole moderator team in the group, in the Cricut Maker Projects group. There's a support button there in the announcements for them as well. But it's only available on mobile for that. You guys have a wonderful week. I will catch you on Monday, January 6th. Happy New Year. You guys have a wonderful time, and I will catch you then. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe.